Good evening, everybody. With it being close to 6:30 on Tuesday, August 28th, 2018, I will call this meeting of the WPS School Committee to order and ask that we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. So it's amazing that the summer is almost over. The kids have one more day, I believe. The adults have been working really hard. I'll never make that mistake again at one of our meetings. Just for those that might be watching, we took our annual tour of the 3 buildings. And just on behalf of the committee, I want to thank all of the building principals and the custodian staffs. All of the buildings look really, really good, and everybody has been going through, or all the staff have been going through a lot of professional development yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And everybody is really excited for the kids to be joining us on Thursday morning. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the July 31st, 2018 minutes. Unfortunately, we do not have those minutes this evening, so I will pass over that item. The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Good evening, Mrs. Gogan.
Good evening, everyone. I also would like to thank our custodians for the hard work that they saw on the buildings. Look beautiful. Organization cleaning difficult because we had summer programs in all of our schools. So they've really gone above and beyond and are still working down to the minute before the kids walk through the buildings. So I want to thank them for their hard work. I have a special visitor here today, and his name is Duncan McIntyre. And I would like to recognize Duncan McIntyre, along with Lois Taylor, for his dedication to the Webster Public School before and after school summer programming. He has volunteered his time all summer long. And Lois, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, actually, I met Duncan many, many years ago, and his family. He was one of our original students who participated in the before and after school program. And he contacted me if he could volunteer in the summer. And while all his friends, as he told me, were working, making money this summer, he decided that he would like a more rewarding experience in the summer, and he stayed with us all summer. He contributed 85 hours to volunteer in the summer program. So I'd like to say thank you very much.
Duncan, on a small token of appreciation, Mrs. Taylor and myself have something for you, and we'd like to take a picture with you. This is for you. Thank you. School prep. You don't have to open it here, but we do want to take your picture. So not many kids your age give up their summer to volunteer to help out with little kids.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, are you going to be a teacher?
I'm going more into computer.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
Microphone.
Congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you. Good citizenship behaviors. We need more kids like you. Spread the word to your friends.
Yeah. That was good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a very nice son.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for coming. I think it's important to recognize that most kids wouldn't have done that. And we need to take time to celebrate those kind of things. I know I saw you at the Congressman McGovern's rock tour, and I saw how involved you were and invested. And those are great characteristics to have. I wish you the best success this year. Thank you. So I have a lengthy report. I'm just kidding.
You used up all your time last.
I know. It has been a busy summer. I do want to let you know that the personnel update has been updated, I believe, in your packets. We have been hiring like crazy. I think last Friday we hired 5 people. We've been hiring all week. I'm very pleased to have welcomed the staff that we have welcomed. At this point, our open positions are 2 ELL positions at Park Ave an academic interventionist, which we will be filling. We have just not processed that. We need 3 more paraprofessionals at the Park Ave. We had an adjustment counselor, but she has just informed us today that she won't be coming, so we need an adjustment counselor at the Webster Middle School. We're still looking for a part-time foreign language teacher and 2 paraprofessionals at the Webster Middle School. And we are looking for 1 paraprofessional at the high school. And we have not found an administrative assistant for the central office. To be honest with you, that's been on the bottom of our list. Our main goal is to fill the schools. So that's a brief update on personnel. I know that you know that we've been very busy this summer, and I always compliment my team with the work that we're doing. We held our first ever, which you know, ILT meeting with the DLT team in the summer, in July. We had 4 math workshops for the new math program, and the teachers are really excited about that. We've held 2 workshops for the ELA pilot, 6 through 12. We've held a mentor training. Kathy held special education meeting and trainings. Over the summer, we updated our mentor handbook, our employee handbook, all of which you already know, but for those that are watching. We also had an admin summer summit, which focused on our turnaround plans and beginning phases of goals and evaluation training. The administrators were trained by the DSAC team on evaluation, and we're looking at really following different timelines for that this year. I am very excited to share about the beginning of opening day. Opening day was yesterday. We welcomed our staff back, and we had what I thought was a great opening. We started our opening by recognizing staff and recognizing the people in our district. My message to people in the district is we're only as strong as the people within our district. And we started by recognizing people that have been here for 20 and 30 and 40 years. And we recognized some people for some outstanding work that they had done over the summer. And I'm pleased to share that Ellen Nyland and Janice Daniels and Jill Chapdelaine and Patty Mackay were all recognized for going above and beyond. Ellen, of course, for her ongoing efforts with making sure that we eat healthy here and that she accesses every resource that she possibly can to either update our materials, bring in healthy food, and you know, her support staff is also recognized by recognizing her. Janice was recognized because, as you know, we've been working very hard here. When I first came in here last July, we were denied the Park Ave turnaround grant, and we had to rewrite it. And we rewrote it as a team, but we rewrote it with some clearer visions and a mission, and we got it. Part of the grant is, the second year of the grant is to rewrite the grant. So we have not been officially, well, we've been officially told that we've gotten the grant. In them telling us that, I haven't received the paperwork, and so until I see it in writing, in black and white, I always say, we've been told that we literally went from having a grant that wasn't accepted, I won't say the worst in the state, but having a grant that wasn't accepted to having the best grant written in the state. And I recognize Janice for her efforts in that. That's big. I also recognized Jill Chapdelaine. I know we talk a lot to you about what's going on in terms of educational talk. We're getting a new math curriculum. What does that really mean? Well, we're getting hundreds of boxes of materials, hundreds of boxes of manipulatives. And those hundreds of boxes were physically opened by Jill Chapdelaine. I almost bought her a box cutter, but I didn't. I got her flowers instead. And she has sorted every teacher's materials and taken a close inventory of everything coming in. And I wanted to recognize her for that. And also Patty Mackay was recognized for really being a superhero, a quiet superhero, with taking over as the acting principal last year. And we talked a lot about our simple goals, which are the instructional strategies. There's a sheet in your packet. Last year, I'd given you this about this time of the year. The instructional strategies for 2018 and 2019 are our goals, what this district will be focusing on. We will be continuing to roll out the using the reading program with Fidelity. We are in the midst of training our staff to use a new district-wide assessment tool. That training occurred in some schools today, and I will tell you that people are excited. They are talking about learning targets. They're talking about everything is sort of coming together. So that instructional strategy sheet was shared with the staff, and we stressed, or I stressed when I was speaking to the staff, the importance of building relationships with students and really taking the time to understand each student. And that involves actually taking the time to reach out to each family. So I've tasked every employee in this district in the first couple of weeks of schools to have a phone call with the families that they're servicing. So the high school would obviously be calling their advisory group, which is a more manageable group than 150 kids, and making those personal connections. Because without them, without really understanding the context of our students' lives, it's very difficult to help them find and make connections to what they're learning. And that's really our mission here, is to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all of our kids. So from my presentation, I want to thank Chairman Hurton for coming and speaking to the district. We broke up, and I have a very detailed list, which is good nighttime reading, to let you know what we're really doing here. These 3 days of professional development, we've been planning for 6 months plus. It's like fitting a puzzle together to make sure that everybody has some relevant professional development, and we did it. And I'm really proud of this. Today, I participated in the ALICE trainings at the elementary school. We will be having ALICE scenario trainings at the middle school and the high school tomorrow. And these trainings are very valuable. Oh, you need one more? Okay. So that was our beginning of the school year. I'm really excited about year 2 in Webster. One of the things that I did share, and I'll share again publicly here, is what drives me every day is to help kids. And I love this turnaround work. And we are making a difference here. And I'm hoping that this year our teachers are really getting the message, not just about the curriculum resources, but about building those relationships with kids and their families. And I know we do that, but we don't do that for all kids. And so the message is we need to do that for all students here. So that's the beginning of the year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the committee for Mrs. Gogan? As I said yesterday, and I am very sincere in these comments, I am the most hopeful I have been in all my years on the committee based on the work that was done last year, the existing and new folks that you've brought into your central office team, as well as a couple, Mr. Zajac going into his second year, and some of the new leaders that we have both at Park Ave and Bartlett. So I probably have no idea how much work went into this, but thank you very much.
And I thank my team. This was a team effort. Things like, and that was the message yesterday. We're accomplishing things, but the more we work together and the more we collaborate, the better we're going to build the structures that the system needs to support kids. So we want everyone to have a voice, students included, and I can see the culture change. I'm beginning to see the cultural change in people, and I think that's pretty powerful.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the business manager report. Good evening, Mrs. Perangeli.
So the first thing I'm going to talk about tonight is our MSBA site visit. As you know, we submitted an SOI back in April, I believe it was. We were contacted by the building authority to come out. They assess districts throughout the state. They have about 40 applicants right now looking for renovations to buildings. They come out, they meet with you, they review plans, talk a little bit about your community, ask you some questions. They walk through your buildings. They were here for about an hour and a half, I want to say.
We met with them first. And
Yep, they came in, we sat down, we had conversation. Superintendent Gogan gave them a history of Webster, talked a little bit about Webster. They asked about prior projects that were done in the community. They asked about staffing in the community as far as town hall, town administrator, are we stable with our staffing? Talked about does the community support, which absolutely, the community supports us with new elementary, a new middle school in 2005. There's a lot of building going on in town. We then proceeded to tour the building, and as you can see, the building looks in pretty good darn shape right now. The custodians have done a good job. As we're walking through, I was kind of lecturing the custodian, saying, it looks too good, you did too good of a job. Everything was shining, and they were pretty admiring the building. But I think through that, they really got the concept that we do care about our building and we maintain our building. We do the best that we can to maintain, to keep it in shape. In our discussion, talking about, how you get chosen, how are they looking at applications, they said out of the 40 applicants, they pick anywhere from 8 to 13, depending on the size of the project and how much money is available for the project. They rate them in priority status, going from, I think they said 1 to 8. We got as far as 1 to 5 because 5 is kind of where we're at. The number one issue they look at is safety. Is there anything unsafe in the building? Electrical, that's unsafe. Any kind of building that makes it unsafe for the kids. The second is overcrowding. To look at, are there any overcrowding issues? So right there, we're kind of out of luck on the first two. The third one is the NEASC report. They take a look at any recommendations from NEASC. But at the last NEASC, we were taken off of warning for our maintenance and stuff, so there was improvement there. The fourth is they look at incoming enrollment. Do they see growth? Is there any issues of future overcrowding? And then the fifth is where we were coming in, was building conditions. So they understand there is need for our building conditions. They commented, they were pleased with how well the SOI was written, and they felt they had a clear understanding. Even walking around, they could see the spots where things had leaked. They understand the mechanical. It really just comes down to the priority of what's in the state. So after that, they will go back and assess all the other schools, and they'll prioritize their list. We should hear back. They said usually 2 rounds they look at, December and then in February. So we'll get a better understanding of where we stand then. But I'm a little hopeful, but I'm not overly hopeful. But we'll keep our fingers crossed because this building does have some serious mechanical and issues that we need to address, plumbing, mechanical, boilers. So hopefully we'll have some good things. Otherwise, we're going to have to start thinking outside the box and really take a look at other projects that we can address. So that's that. The second item on my list is summer maintenance projects. So there wasn't a huge amount of projects going on this summer. We're really in pretty good shape with our new Park Ave, and middle school is really maintaining. We focused a lot on safety this year. That was a priority of ours going through the school year and ending up the school year. So we added an entrance to the front of Bartlett. School committee, you saw that tonight. So I think parents and students will be pleasantly pleased when they come in on first day of school. It really adds another barrier, a block. So when you come through the main entrance, you're buzzed. You come into the building and you cannot get any further. You have to stop at the counter, which we enclose with glass. And we have, the doors are locked, so now they cannot enter the school without that second buzz. So anybody that comes in is kind of contained in an area. So that project was supported with additional monies through the town at the FY19 budget, so we're thankful for that. The second thing we focused on for safety was walkies. So we've been working on walkie-talkies that'll connect the whole district, not just the school. So we'll have the ability to talk between here and Park Ave, middle school Park Ave. They're putting repeaters in here and at Park Ave. Some of us will have the ability to monitor police. So we'll have that capability in the event of an emergency to be able to all go to a certain channel and really communicate as a team to know what's going on in the district. So that was a big priority for us. So that is just about, we're waiting for, we've gone through, we have all the merchandise in. It's just basically finishing up the FCC and getting items programmed. So we're excited about that. As you can see, there was some work done to the student parking lot in the back, in our parking lot. That was another approval at town meeting for some additional paving here. I cannot thank Kenny Pizzetti and his team enough. They have been so critical to the work done around here this summer. And they have just been so positive and willing to help no matter what I asked. He's been, you know, a true champion to me. Anytime I pick up the phone, or he's very proactive in reaching out. Just a week ago, we were talking about additional things. We had a tree over at the middle school that's blocking the camera. The walkway was unsafe because that's where our special ed bus unloads and kids walk in. And I was afraid that kids were gonna trip. He dug it out, he took down the tree, he repaved so it's nice and smooth. They did that within 2 days of me talking to him. So I can't thank him enough for the work that he's done here. As you can see, it looks pretty good when you come in the back of the building now. We've got some planting going on down there, so it looks like an entrance again. It doesn't look like the back of Bartlett anymore. It doesn't look like a loading dock. It looks like an actual admin entrance.
Maybe an awning.
Yeah, we'll have an awning coming in shortly, so sprucing it up a little bit. It looks really great. We also did, at the middle school, we added some security film to the front entrance of the doors. At Park Ave, we have the monster glass or whatever, bulletproof glass at Park Ave in the entrances. We were looking for a little something to secure, and just really, it's meant to buy you more time. So if somebody comes in and God forbid there's ever an event or somebody's hitting the glass or trying to shatter, it's not just gonna break down and they won't be able to reach through. It holds it together. So it buys you an extra 2 minutes of time to be able to lock down, make an announcement, and call the police. You know, their ETA is usually, they tell you anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So 2 minutes is a big deal in an event like that to save you time. So we're really happy with that. It looks really good over there. Pleased with that. Not a heck of a lot going on at Park Ave. We added a fence by the preschool, just a small fence that goes along in the preschool area, just so we don't have any kids that could escape the area and go towards the parking lot. So kind of trying to contain.
Never happened.
Containment
We're
is
just trying to
important
be
at that
safe.
age. So we're just looking, you know, anytime we see any kind of safety flaws that we look like that could be a potential hazard, we try and be proactive with those items and fix them up. So our team has done a great job. The custodians have done a super job. The highway has done a super job. I couldn't be happier with the work that's been done this summer. And they really deserve a shout out. So if you see any of them around, please thank them for the work that they do for us. It's really important work.
Just another note on safety. In September, we hold monthly district safety meetings with our local police and firefighters and EMS. We will be doing safety walkthroughs, all the buildings. So we do that sporadically through the year to look for safety, other safety things that we haven't caught.
Right. The next item on the list is the FY18 revolving accounts. In front of you, you should have sheets. They went out with your packets that show our revolving accounts that we ended with FY18. As you know, the town still hasn't rolled over the books yet. They still haven't closed out, so these are unaudited numbers, but I'm fairly certain they're accurate. Sometimes it's just a matter of posting. We might have sent something down on June 30th. It might not get posted till July, so that might cause a little discrepancy. But for the most part, these are good, solid numbers. As you can see, school facilities, we did use some of that money for a building project during the year, so that's why you see the expenditures there. We no longer have the collaborative renting space from us, so that was some money that was lost there. But I'm comfortable with this account. We've always maintained it well in the past. Our buildings are frequently used. There's always something going on here. We hold, you know, if you come here in May and June, the building is used every weekend for a dance recital, not to mention with there's plays going on during the year, and now dance companies have started doing mid-year recitals also. So there's a lot of activity going on, groups using our fields, and we're happy to use, that's what our buildings are for the community. So we're happy to use those. The next one is the athletics account. You'll see gate receipts and expenses. We're holding our own there. Summer school account. This is for our summer school. We collect fees for that program, but it's also supplemented with Title I monies. So it works in conjunction with Title I. So Title I has been supporting some staff for those programs at the middle school and the high school. So that helps us. If it wasn't for that support, I'm not sure that we would be able to support the full program. We would definitely have to take a look at that program and cut down some classes. So we take a look at that. Next one is the before and after school program. We're doing pretty well there, as you can see. For that is our before program care, and after that is run by Lois Taylor. So we're doing well there. We've got a balance of 177 at the end of the year. That is used, that money can be used for programs at the elementary school. So I've spoken with Lois about adding more programs and doing more maybe field trips or hands-on activity with the kids that they can support with this money. Graphics is just an old account that's been sitting there for years when we used to have the graphics. I actually talked with the town at the end of last year because they still put out the town report book, and there were some fees that were collected for that, so they really have every right to use that money for it, anything they're doing. So I did speak with them saying if you want to use that for any of the town report that goes out to the town, they can clear that out and zero it out, and that's a justifiable expense for that. Adult ed was testing fees. They collect fees. That's not a very active account. As you can see, they didn't use it last year. There was no in and outs. They were doing some testing at some time, and they have some money sitting there, but it's not something that's used frequently. Book recovery is more or less now, it's for books, but Chromebook repair also. So this is where we would put money that we collect from Chromebooks and spend out. So as you can see, at the end of 17, we had some payments at the end of the year come in for our Chromebooks. Those were repaired during the year, and then we give them back for the kids. So if they don't have insurance and the Chromebooks are damaged by the child, they have to pay for the repair. If it's just a manufacturer, something, you could tell it was just a problem with the Chromebook, not something they did, we repair that at our expense. So they have a Chromebook. And then school lunch recovery, that's an old one just sitting there where, now that we've done CEP, we're not really charging, having to collect any back fees, so that account's been inactive for a little bit. And these are accounts that just roll year to year, so it's not something that you really have to worry about closing and getting off the books. So that's okay to leave sit there. And community schools is our preschool account. As you can see, there's no revenue coming in because we don't collect tuition anymore. That stopped when we started reporting our kids on our SIMs and collecting Chapter 70 funds for those. We're not allowed to do both. So we get Chapter 70, we don't collect fees. So they've really just been spending down the money for the preschool program, supplies when needed. That'll eventually zero out, and it'll be closed out. Do you have any questions on any of these?
Any questions or comments? I just have a couple. Out of the $86,000 for the school facilities rental, how much of that was spent finishing this project? Do you know roughly?
77,000.
Okay. And how much was the collaborative rent each year?
16,000.
So it would be fair to assume that the revenue would go down, even though the buildings are used a lot?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I know that summer school a lot is funded by Title I. Was it expected to have a $3,000 deficit between expenses and revenue?
We've been noticing the past couple of years there's been a decline in summer school. Kids, unfortunately, not paying to go anymore.
So, but they're still allowed to attend?
If they're not paying, it depends how they fall under Title I. If the high school pretty much has to pay.
Right.
The high school will supplement with teachers, so the kids do have some ownership to pay. And a lot of them choose not to come anymore. The middle school is free for them, right?
Right.
The students didn't have to pay for middle school.
I think they work out payment plans with follow
Through.
paying.
So what they do with certain things like that for summer school, for class dues, Chromebooks, they'll put them on a plan and they'll give them until graduation. And then that's something they have to pay off, like their class dues or something before they graduate. So they'll carry it through. But we see that, I know I talked to Ms. Nassis, that kids just don't seem to even want to go to summer school anymore. There's a decline in it. So.
Okay, those were all my questions.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Another thing I wanted to mention is just on FY18, it's just more of an FYI, that last Thursday we attended the FinCom meeting down in Webster. I think I mentioned some time ago we were invited. They wanted an update on the FY18 closeout, so I gave them the same budget that you all saw at the last school committee meeting. I didn't go through line by line, I just gave them an overview of our process. They had asked if I would be willing to come more frequently through the year to give them updates, which I don't mind doing, but I also extended the invitation for them to come here. I, inform them of our process and that we come before you quarterly, review our budget, answer any questions that you may have, and that this is a good place for them to come and get those updates. I'd be happy to go a mid-year and speak to them as we start entering our budget season, talk about areas of concern that we might be seeing at that point. But, I told them our door is always open. These are things we discuss on a regular basis, that they're more than welcome to come here and be a part of that. So I think they were happy that we attended. They were pleased that the school department turned back $49,000. They were happy with that. And I think overall it was a good meeting. It was just more or less about our process and what we see and, how we manage things and what we're doing here. Where I saw some areas that we had some significant savings and where I see concerns, which is maintenance, no surprise there, but things we need to address. So I just wanted to update you on that. And then the last item is our FY19 budget update. Not too much to inform you of there. We're keeping a close eye as we're going through our hiring, looking at salaries, trying to stay within budget when we can. I'm hopeful at the next meeting in September, by the end of September, I'll be giving you an update. We just got an updated tuition list looking at the kids for out of district, so we'll be looking at that. We're checking all of our paras, making sure we're in compliance, meeting all of that, all of those needs. So we're pretty well on target. Not totally crazy nervous yet. We're staying within our range close. I think we'll be okay. Just really looking forward to the hiring to get done so we can really put the items in place and see where we stand overall in the budget. But I'm thinking we're okay. So, any questions?
Any questions from the committee? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to old business, the next item on the agenda is the summer program review, everybody's favorite subject. Mrs. Dogan.
Thank you. I have invited Mrs. Daniels and Mrs. Taylor and Mrs. Barris to speak about their programs a little bit tonight.
Good evening. I was told to speak up next to the microphone. So as usual, we ran our special education summer program. It ran for 5 weeks. We have a 5-week, 4-hour days. We offer a full continuum from preschool right on up to our 18 to 22 students. So at the high school, we were able to combine those programs because we have lower numbers at that level. At the elementary school, we offered 2 preschool classrooms. We have quite a few students that receive services at the early childhood level, and also ABA services as well as academic students who receive resource services during the year. And at the middle school, we had 2 classrooms, our ABA program and our life skills program. In total, we served about 80 students this summer. All of them, fully participated in activities primarily academic and maintaining skills that they work on during the school year to prevent regression. And it culminates with we do a lot of reading support work and have like a field trip activity where we tie in all of the academic goals for reading during the summer with all of our students, including the early childhood students. Our preschool coordinator, our summer school coordinator is Susan Ricard. She did a phenomenal job once again this summer. And I feel, overall everything went really smoothly. Very, minimal problems, the usual transportation and just coordinating that stuff. But all in all, everything went really well.
Good evening. So for the Title I summer programming, the budget, I spent about a little over $37,000, and that was spread between Bartlett Middle School and Park Ave. So at Bartlett, they had about 99 students attend. Of that, there were 28 eighth graders. We really like to bring the eighth grade students up to the high school for the summer, just to kind of give them that little flavor of high school, and they did very well. At the middle school, we had actually two programs. The first one, it was more your traditional Title I, Stop the Summer Slide. We targeted some kids that were at risk, but not like seriously at risk, for both ELA and math. So those were the 5th, 6th, and 7th graders, and we had about 30 students, and everything went quite well with their program. And then we had what we call about 24 students who really had quite a few multiple failings in their coursework, core classes. And the principal, Michael, I can't remember his last name. Michael Zajac, my goodness. Michael Zajac, he and I spoke together and figured out, well, we needed to do something a little bit more serious. So we did, we utilized the Edgenuity program, which is an online program for ELA and math. We have several different courses available, but we chose ELA and math because that's what they needed. And we hired 2 additional teachers who their job, one was the Edgenuity specialist. He had a lot of experience, Stephen Menard, and Andrea Fitton brought in that seriousness when you walk in the classroom. You're going to get your work done, and her skill set was perfect for the crowd. And they provided one-on-one tutoring as needed, because the majority of the time the students were on a computer doing their coursework. It was beautiful. I mean, there were no behaviors, they were just engaged. Seriousness, they attended. One girl maybe missed a class and stayed for a double session the next day. And that really was to help them to not have to repeat a class. So that was quite successful. And then lastly, the Park Ave, I'm going to let Lois talk in a moment, but over the years, past years, we combined 21st Century Grant Funds and Title I together to provide what we call Pass 1 summer programming. And it's a little bit of academic for ELA and math, and we have enrichment. And I'm going to send it over to Lois so she can explain, because she was really the head over there at the.
Okay.
She did a great job.
So we ran a program and had a total of 53 students who attended between the 21st Century Grant Program and Title I. And there was a 90% attendance rate. So our students, yes, they enjoyed the program. Janice had curriculum called Lit Camp. So we did a literacy theme type of camping theme program, in which we actually had some of the teachers in the reading group brought in tents where they held their reading each day and morning meeting around a pretend campfire. So the kids really enjoyed the program. And to enrich that, we figured nature, outdoors, and camping type of activities. So we took a field trip to Broad Meadow Brook, which is a nature sanctuary, and they did a ponding and streaming type of activity where they The students got to go on a nature trail walk. They got to, look at different plant items. And we also had the New England Aquarium come in. They came in on 2 different occasions, and they did a tide pool activity with the students, where they actually could get their hands on with starfish and different type of, shoreline type of aquarium. And they also came in and they had, for the youngest students, they had a turtle trek, and it was just really great. The kids really enjoyed their summer programming this year. We also had a Price Chopper tour with Ellen and Snap Education, and we went down to Price Chopper and we talked to families about nutrition and the summer feeding program. That's
Talk about preschool.
preschool, yes. So this year, we serviced through Pass One students from kindergarten through 4th grade, always. But we offered pre-kindergarten students, so students who were rising into the kindergarten for the fall in a couple days. So we had a total of 4 parents who were interested in that summer program. And we did more of a readers theater type of activity where the students did puppet shows for the older students. So they, were completely engaged. There was a lot of peer relationships building, showing students, what is programming like? What is elementary school like? And actually, through the 21st Century Grant, we have to do a pre-survey assessment and a post-survey assessment on top of the academic assessments. We do a pre and a post, which we have to record that data and send it to the state. But they didn't have any pre-K assessments. So I contacted the state coordinator, and she stated, we would love to have that data, because now they can have this as like a pilot across the whole state. So that's really exciting. They want our feedback of how the program went for preschool students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry?
So we're good with summer program?
Yes, I just want to compliment you all on your organization of, I had the opportunity to see all the kids in action. The summer camp was just dynamite. Kids in the tents with fake fires reading. They were thrilled. And the kids did want to come. And everyone was having a good time and learning. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the committee? No? Again, thank you for all your hard work. Next item on the agenda is report on fundraising applications. Again, this is part of a policy that was adapted a couple years ago, where school committee is updated on any new fundraising applications that are approved by the administration. There was one submitted for the student council. They will be having a car wash at AutoZone on September 8th. And then there were 15 fundraisers submitted by the Music Boosters. I assume with no principal signature, that's just a formality of the transition between Mr. Knowlton and Dr. Cushing. Our copies
No,
didn't have one.
He has signed my copies.
Okay,
No, actually, he hasn't. So that is just the transition.
okay. Did you want to add anything?
Yes.
Okay.
On September 14th, the Music Boosters Club, which is coming up soon, they're hosting Gary McKinsky, a psychic medium at Point Breeze. And you can get your tickets if you go to the Music Boosters website to support our kids. Thank you. Have a good year. I'll see you at school.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? And again, these will be posted on the district website, correct?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda under new business is the approval of an out-of-state field trip, Bartlett High School art students to New York City. The high school art teachers are looking to take students to the New York Dig Beacon Museum and Stormkind Arts Center. Once again, thanks to the generosity of the Janet Malzer Grant, which will be partially funding this trip on October 5th, 2018, assuming all the paperwork is in order. Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the field trip to New York City.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the approval of substitute handbook. Mrs. Gogan.
Thank you. We have updated our substitute handbook, and you have a cover page with some of the suggested changes. Some of the suggested changes include increasing our daily sub pay from $75 to $85, so increasing our long-term sub rates from $110 a day to $120, increasing our nurse sub rates from $110 to $125, increasing our para ABA sub rates from $62.50 to $72.50, and increasing our admin assistant sub rates from $10 to $11 an hour, and increasing our cafeteria sub rates from 10 to 11. We did take a look at other surrounding towns. Getting substitutes in this district is an issue. And we believe that if we raise our prices, we may be able to have people come here as opposed to other districts that are paying the daily rate of $85.
Is that it?
Yes.
Any
One
questions?
one other section, I'm sorry. We also added a sign-off section for the reasonable assurance for substitute employees so that they can sign off, and that will eliminate a need for us to notify substitutes at the end of the year that they're not eligible for unemployment.
Great.
Thank you.
Which I'm sure saves a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Going back to your comment earlier about the FY19 salary, I'm assuming these rate increases will be covered in the budget, hopefully. And I've heard this for many years. I understand it. The reality is it's a competitive marketplace.
Yes.
And even the increases, I think from what the little I know, we're still on a low end for some of the sub positions, but this gives us a better opportunity in Southern Worcester County.
On the same playing field.
Right.
So, more, Webster resident,
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
Mr. Chair, and this
Mrs.
may
Apparata.
be updated, but just on the last page where it says school committee approved August 2017, that will be updated to 2018.
Yes.
See, it's good to have a paper copy, isn't it? After tonight and the issues I'm having, I might switch back. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the substitute handbook as presented with the correction from Mrs. Naparata.
So moved.
Second.
We have two motions and 2 seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the summer meals program.
Good
Mrs.
evening.
Nyland,
Good evening,
how
everybody.
are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
So this is kind of I guess, a soft recap. I haven't done the claim yet, so I don't have all the budget numbers, but labor and food tends to hold pretty steady. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about participation and then the other things that went on this summer. So preliminary, like I said, I haven't done the claim yet. We served 4,951 meals this summer, and that's up from 4,355 last year, which was up from 2016, 3,108. So from 2016 to 2017, it's the addition of breakfast that made the number go up. And this year, it actually looks like we serve more meals at both the middle school and the high school, that Park Ave held pretty steady. So right now, since currently our summer meals program is really based out of the programs at the buildings, that has to do with the enrollment in the summer programs, basically. We don't get a lot of walk-ins. We have some very loyal families, which is really, really nice. And I will I'll wait till the end just to talk about how, I think it's a decision for the district. I know what my opinion is as to if we want to increase participation in summer meals, it means going outside of the buildings and adding community sites. And we've already kind of made some inroads this summer towards doing that. So I would definitely be in favor of that. We were audited this summer by the state, and there were no corrective actions and only 2 findings, which were very small things. I underclaimed 13 meals last summer. And this year, I did too many site visits. So it was a very good review, actually. That was the second one for me since I've been here. I had an admin review when I first started, and this was a breeze compared to that one, which is what Mo told me would happen after the first one. As you all know, we hosted the School Meals Rock Tour, and because a lot of you were there, which is very nice that you came. It was a very nice event, and I think we just kind of continue to reap benefits from that, including that great photo that I know Mrs. Gogan has. And we also had the Farm to Summer Shoot for DESI. That's part of a grant, Farm to School grant that they got, and that will be available. DESI will use it for marketing, and on their website, I think Project Bread will use it as well. So whenever we get a hold of that, we'll definitely do some kind of public screening of that. So I guess I'm circling right back around to going to next year and possibly adding more community sites. The beauty of the summer meals program is that it's very flexible in that it is free for anyone under the age of 18. Don't have to be a Webster resident, don't have to attend the schools here. It doesn't matter. We feed anyone for free if they're under 18. So we did a one-off meal last Friday at North Village, which is something that Mrs. Perangeli's been wanting to do. I think it was one of the first things she said to me when I got hired. So it's really nice that we were able to get there. And we actually did that out of a grant, so we didn't submit those as reimbursable meals under the summer meals program. That was part of our summer grant that we got from Project Bread. It was a very nice day. Mrs. Daniels came with books, and I'm sorry Lois left because with some of her grant money, she had a little farmer's market basically where we distributed bags of fresh produce. So it was very, very nice, and we got about 75 meals, which is more than I could have hoped for the first time out. And they have a very good management company over there at North Village, and so they are definitely interested in being a summer site next year. So the plan is to hold a kickoff meeting in April, a month before our application is due, with interested community partners, which would be North Village, potentially 3 days a week. And what would fit nicely in there is the food shares distribution days are Tuesday and Thursday. So we could potentially do a meal at North Village Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, potentially a meal outside the new library so that, people are picking up at the food share, then they could also walk over and get a meal. The town rec director, I've talked to a couple times about any summer camp they may do. Police and fire for any one-off, like the basketball camp that they did at Park Ave, we actually could have made that a site. So it's just getting going earlier next year and inviting all those community partners and seeing if we can really spread this resource out. We already do a good job in the schools, but we actually have the opportunity with summer to spread it out into the community. So I think that's where I'd like to go with that, and I think we're all pretty much in agreement on that.
I think we are on the same page, that the event on Friday was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was a family picnic.
Yep.
We had Project Bread there, we had Title I giving out books, Lois giving out fresh fruits and vegetables by the bags to families, people sitting on the ground with little children running around. Project Bread gave out Frisbees and glasses. It was a really
nice.
special day. And we did make some good connections with them there, and that they have the space for us to do that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I was pleased, very pleased. And everyone was happy there.
Yep. It was a good summer. It was a very good summer. Oh, no. No, please. So any questions, or that concludes what I wanted to say tonight. So.
Any questions or comments from Ms. Nyland? Well, once again, is this your third year?
I'm going into my third year, starting my third year.
You know, the energy that you have brought to your position and the passion, just, you know, kids are picky, and the fact that, at least as a parent, I don't receive as many complaints.
Yeah.
But really, and I know it's a team effort amongst the district, but everybody I speak to that's works within the district and the efforts that you're trying to add healthier food in a fun way. And now in addition to trying to get more summer meals out to the community, obviously is a wonderful idea, which I'm sure with the team sitting right here will become a reality. So once again, I just, on behalf of the committee, want to thank you for your efforts. And we've got the breakfast in the classroom at the middle school starting Thursday.
September 4th.
Tuesday,
Oh, Tuesday,
thankfully.
sorry.
Tuesday.
But I know it's a lot of work that goes into those programs, so
Thank you.
thank you. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of backpack school supplies donation from Long Subaru. Once again, Long Subaru has been, no pun intended, a longtime partner of the school district. They are extremely generous, not only directly to the district, but I believe in years past through the Webster Education Foundation. So I'm assuming they are providing backpacks and school supplies once again, which per school committee policy, we are required to accept. Anything else I missed?
53 beautiful backpacks, 561 pencils, 73 pens, 134 glue sticks, 64 notebooks, 69 boxes of crayons, 66 highlighters, 157 erasers, and many other miscellaneous items. There were so many that we actually shared them with the middle school. They came yesterday and dropped them off at the elementary school, and so we spread them out. And some of the backpacks we will be using once we get the, we're trying to start a backpack food program at the middle school and the high school. So we're going to use some of they buy very nice, sturdy backpacks. We're going to use some of them for that program as well.
Great.
And we're very grateful for that, for their donation.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the backpack and school supplies as listed by Mrs. Gogan.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you poll the committee, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of reaching cooler donation from Webster Dudley Food Share. It appears that the Webster Dudley Food Share has generously donated a reaching cooler to the Webster Middle School Breakfast in the Classroom program. The value of the cooler is $2,895. Anything to add?
We're very grateful.
Yes, we are. Again, not only does the Webster Dudley Food Share do an amazing job within our community, but now they're even helping us. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the Reach In Cooler donation from the Webster Dudley Food Share valued at $2,895.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Laurie, would you poll the committee, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. The next item on the agenda is acceptance of a $19,000 scholarship from the R. Mildred Zuckerman Estate. And we received a donation of $19,000 through the will of R. Mildred Zuckerman. She has expressed the wish for the funds to be used for scholarships in memory of Otto A. Rich.
This is quite a surprise. It's not every day that you get a call that someone's donating $19,000 to Bartlett High School. Our Mildred Zuckerman was 99 years old and passed away, and she was a graduate of Bartlett High School. An attorney called Monique's office, and we've gone through the paperwork, and they would like to donate this money. It was in her will to students at Bartlett High School. Very wonderful.
Absolutely. Any questions or comments from the committee?
That Webster pride that I keep talking about, that in Webster kindness matters, that's something that's really unique here. I'm just going to keep saying that because it's true.
I read it somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Hearing no questions or comments from the committee, again, as you indicated, thank you very much to Mrs. Zuckerman's estate. And I will entertain a motion to accept the $19,000 scholarship from the R. Mildred Zuckerman estate.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
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 Yes, and just before we enter the last item on the agenda, again, on behalf of the entire committee, for those that might be watching, we wish all of the staff and students the best on their first day of school this coming Thursday. And then pre-K and K is next Tuesday,
September 6th.
September 6th. So again, we wish all of you safety and the best, and the buses will be
We can't wait.
on time.
We can't wait for the kids. I did want to mention one other thing that I forgot to mention in my report. We were very lucky to have Commissioner Jeff Riley come and spend the afternoon, or part of the afternoon, with us on the opening day. And Commissioner Riley was able to walk around the schools with me, and we were able to meet very authentically with each of the schools in their PD. And he had some very funny stories to share. And at the elementary school, he actually showed a video, which was a pretty powerful little video. And teachers were crying, but it was really about our jobs as teachers and helping support people when they can't get from point A to point B. And it was pretty powerful. So I was very grateful for him to spend that time with us. And I know that you know this, but I just want to make sure the public knows this. The picture that Ellen was referring to at the opening of Congressman McGovern's rock tour, they started the rock tour here at Park Ave, and Commissioner O'Reilly was also there. He does a newsletter, and our picture of the Webster staff was in the newsletter for everyone in the state to see. So Webster Pride. I told him to keep his eye on this district. He's going to be hearing great things.
Well, I think I said this to you privately. I don't know if I said it publicly. I did have an opportunity to briefly speak with him at that event. And I think from my perspective, what's very refreshing with regard for somebody in his position is he has sat in your chair.
Yes.
I think he told me he came from the Boston school system, worked up the ranks to a kind of a deputy superintendent level, and then for many years was the receiver in Lawrence. Thank you. And so obviously he gets it, as opposed to sometimes folks in those positions are just coming from more of an academic background.
One of his missions is really to begin to celebrate teachers. And we all have to have accountability, but he has seen the pendulum swing where the accountability is kind of negatively impacted building that relationship with students. So his messaging this year is about celebrating amazing teachers, and he had shared with us, I forget the gentleman's name, the teacher of the year that he had recognized, and he had recognized this particular teacher because this teacher had, I think, 20 students of his own. He was a math teacher who then ended up becoming teachers. Yes, math teachers. And so he's really trying to help inspire a teacher voice, as we are here. So our visions sort of are a little bit aligned.
And the fact that he spent that much time in a relatively small district, and folks from Boston think this is Western Mass, even though it's really not, but for him to come out this far, that was very nice of him.
It was great.
Next item on the agenda is review, transfer, signing of bills, payroll, and vouchers.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Did you change your cell phone number? You don't have an iPhone.
She had to split stickies to make it work. I guess so.
Yes, that's it.
Do we, Lori, do we have to increase the budget for stickies?
You split them.
You split
There's so
them.
many of them.
She ran out. Like, I was cutting them in half.
I said, hey, we increased the sub rates.
She was creative. She was outside the box.
It's true.
We've got everybody saving money here.
Hey, takes a village.
I learned a valuable lesson. I didn't want the password. I was trying to text you his email address. I was gonna send it from my, but it won't go through. Yeah, but if the Wi-Fi, is it because she doesn't have an iPhone? Or it doesn't work on the Wi-Fi? Probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Enough of them.
I know.
She's smart. Oh, yeah, we're gonna be here for another 4 hours doing dinner.
I was really hoping for snacks
You didn't-
tonight.
You didn't grab the fork?
Oh, were you?
Yeah, because we had the tours and, you know, that's.
Switched over to phone. Where's that?
Oh, is it a Disney? Yep.
April? April?
Just keep. I'll get by tomorrow morning.
Listen, I don't have the shortest name, so.
Watching the World Series.
What a great game.
And came from Hawaii, kid's middle name. I actually went into the stands and asked the mom, because he didn't know how to pronounce it. I actually asked the mom. Because the commentators tried initially, close and then came on.
Yeah, team from Hawaii, it's incredible.
Oh, they beat South Korea. Oh. Hugger.
Yeah.
Well, the Georgia team who played in the U.S. finals, that were these little kids and they had horrible smiles. Young man, junior, as well? That was, yeah. Did you have kids today?
It was great, the one at the DCU Center, yeah, it's always incredible, over 4,200 employees. Yeah, and the speaker was so dynamic, very entertaining.
They didn't ask you that?
Yep. We have the art students do a little performance at the end too, so yeah.
Is that just the union or the administrative?
Every single
Everybody-
Worcester Public School employee, custodians, secretarial staff, everybody.
is there.
From all the schools.
Yep,
But is
4,200.
Is Worcester Vogue separate?
Nope.
They're part of you?
Yeah.
Even though they have their own superintendent?
They don't.
They don't?
No. Not in
Maureen
Worcester, not in
oversees?
Worcester. Yep.
Okay.
It's not, it's the Vulcan,
No, it's
Worcester
Tech.
Technical High
so
School,
something or other,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I was with it way back when.
You know what I'm thinking of? Is the, was the
Yes,
principal went on to
she
become a
went
super.
At
up
a
in-
tech, at a Vogue
yeah, up
school,
in
yeah.
like-
Job right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she's my replacement.
At the middle school.
Was at Central School
Yeah.
over there as a teacher?
No, yes. Because the,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Shenivert,
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
there's a motion and a second. Laurie, would you pull the committee, please?
Yes.
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 Yes, meeting adjourned.